Well, greetings again, everyone. Hope you're all doing as well as possible out there. And things are a little up and down for me in terms of like moods and keeping things on track and stuff like that. Part of it's the weather, part of it's other things going on in the world, stuff like that. But we don't bog ourselves down with that type of stuff here. But a lot of things to talk about in different directions here on the channel. A lot of things going on. Just a lot of updates stuff. Just catch up, where we're going, things are going on here, and other different things. So, first up, I finally got the video out for the Terminator 2 home video retrospective Redux. It took me a month to get this thing done. I shot it on January 5th. I didn't release it until the very last day of the month. And this is a very difficult project, as that kind of demonstrates. And I kind of wanted to celebrate it, but I'm kind of like, I'm just tired. I'm just tired. I had a hard time with this video. It was a very difficult process because it's just so very tedious. So much so that in the middle of the month, where I felt like I was getting nowhere on the edit. It was just the fact like, oh, I feel like I'm making so much progress, and I'm only at 14 minutes of a 60-minute video. And it was like that long. I know that the end of the video ended up being much shorter than that, but looking at like a timeline of raw footage that's 60 minutes long, and I feel like I'm getting so much done. It's like I got like another 45 minutes of this edit to go through. I just kept being on this entire train in the middle of the month, just like it's not going anywhere. I'm tired of working on this thing. Where I actually thought I was gonna get another video done in the middle of this. Well, the fact is, I actually stopped post-production on the Terminator 2 video and went into full pre-production and full production on an entirely another video that's currently in the early stages of editing right now. And that's me actually going forward and actually finally producing a Redux review on Wolf. I did this all the way back in the first year I was doing videos, review videos on the channel, 2013. It's one of those, in that first Forever Horror Month and a couple other things around that time, I look back and I just cringe at my presentation of the whole thing because I'm doing this big, over-the-top, kind of like overly theatrical horror performance. It's bad. I can't sit through it. It's really bad. And beyond that, fortunately, after all these years, there's a lot of information between the documentary on this and a lot of other stuff I dug up while I was researching the video that become much more widely available in the last couple of years about information about scripts and different things about the entire production, so many different things. It's become a lot more fruitful to do the video now. And this was a couple of weeks ago when that Wolfman movie was coming out that really got ripped to shreds by the critics. Maybe not awful, but it was just one of those things like had a lot of high hopes with Leo 1L and they kind of hit, and it's like, oh, I'm not actually going to go and see it now. A lot of people are being like, oh, it was really disappointing. It really wasn't worth the while and everything like that. So I was kind of on the thing for like this got in my head the whole week. And I kind of, well, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go see that one. I canceled my tickets. And I went off and just, I was still on the hook for this thing. In my mind, I felt like, okay, I'm going to stop that tedious nonsense over here and just go full bore into doing this. I feel like I still have to do some addendums to what I've shot already. So I have to go back and set up everything and reshoot things, stuff like that here and there. But I'm still early in the editing process and I had some problems. I've had some goddamn problems with the ripping software I have. I've emailed the support like months ago about the problems I was having, and they haven't done any updates to the software. They emailed me back and forth a couple times, but there's never been any resolution. And so I emailed them this morning because I left the thing, because I ripped it before, where I was doing the rip and the convert to Apple ProRes, and I was looking through it in the Final Cut timeline. It's like there's scenes they're supposed to be in the third act or now in the first act. They kind of the fucking rip jumbled a bunch of things up, and I did it. I went last night, and I did like just a proper just straight rip of the film. No encoding, no transcoding, no nothing. Just ripped the thing onto the disk, onto my hard drive. It was still ripping 8 hours later when I woke up. And that's not supposed to happen. It's like this thing's not finished after 8 hours. This thing would take half an hour, 40 minutes or something like that to rip. It's just a straight rip with no encode. Software's faulty. I emailed them again this morning as a reply to one I did back at the end of November with the same problems that they never fixed. And so, thankfully I was posting up on Blue Sky, and good guy Chuck Dowling. Great stuff he's done over the years with Bamfcast podcast and 31 horror movies and 31 days on war killer films, follows me and stuff like that. And he threw in, well, have you tried to make MKV? Well, the problem is MKV files are not compatible with Final Cut Pro, but I did download the software and I ripped it to MKV, and then I threw it into the EaseFab video converter software, which came free with the lossless copy Blu-ray ripping software. And while it took longer than it probably should have, because I don't know what its time scale is, because the half an hour it took felt like about an hour. But anything like that, I finally did get the thing properly ripped in all linear format, nothing jumbled up, good quality, and I got in ProRes, so I'm safe on that. So make MKV is free for now. That will work out just fine, and I'll see if anything needs to be adjusted later on. Because the problem is, if I have to go with other software, it's going to cost me like $80. I don't want to drop $80 on software right now. Just don't want to do it. I have other things I need to drop money on and pay off stuff here and there. I don't need to drop $80 on software right now. So that was a nice, good workaround, and it works just fine right now. So we'll see how that goes to move forward. And if this freaking tech support people ever get back to me and fix this stuff, maybe the stuff I paid money for a year ago might actually be worth a damn anymore. So, rant over. But so this has been shot completely. The problem was when I got done with it and loaded all the footage onto it, it was 60 minutes again. So I was like, now I've got 2 videos that are 60 minutes long. Oh God, it kind of made double the problem for me. But thankfully, I just kind of got motivated to go back in the T2 video and get things going, and get it done. And I wanted to get it done by the end of the month. Like I got done got released on YouTube the last day of the month after I got some feedback from my friend Oliver about some things to kind of adjust and kind of preface certain things in the video and kind of do some things that trimmed out a little bit here and there. And so I got it out, and it's like I wanted to get it out because a little behind the scenes type of thing. December and January are not hot months for the analytics on the channel, so I wanted to get something out that kind of boosted the numbers and got things going and kind of get the ad revenue leaked out. Unfortunately, I missed my payout by a couple of cents, by like 24 cents. So I'm still going to have to roll over another month before I get another payout from the channel. So October was huge, like huge analytics. All the stuff I put on October, everything combined just did really great numbers in that regard. But ever since then, it's been kind of a step down from there. So hopefully this month we'll pump up a little bit here and there as I get the Wolf review out. We'll do our commentaries. We're recording those on Monday with me and Steve for Creepshow 2 Maximum Overdrive. I'm waiting for my Maximum Overdrive DVD. I can still watch on Tubi, but for us to record it, we want something that's not ads and stuff like that. So I ordered from Boom Moose on Monday night, and it still hasn't really moved anywhere. I'm slightly concerned because this has to be here by Monday. So thankfully we're recording Monday evening, so if it still comes in the mail Monday, it'll be good enough, but it's still kind of not going anywhere over in New Hampshire right now. So I'm a little plussed about that, anything like that. But the T2 thing, I posted it, things went very well. It's performing very well. Unfortunately, a couple people put some comments in there that I did make a few minor mistakes. Like a date on the Ultimate Edition DVD was 2000 instead of 2001. Apparently the original silver Laserdisc box set did have a making of featurette, which I didn't note, and I overlooked it or something like that in my thing. So a lot of people have been posting on the whole thing about like, other titles I could do for this type of thing. And frankly, I don't really want to do the home video retrospectives anymore. I'm just like, they take like a month and a half to get going and stuff like that. Just take a lot of time. And at least with like T2, I already had most of these releases. I had to spend like maybe, I don't know, next to nothing on the widescreen edition, because I think I grabbed the widescreen edition Laserdisc for the theatrical cut, like half price books. It was not much, or disc replay or something like that. It wasn't a lot of money. Then the DVD for the THX 97 AC3 version, eBay again. I got off of eBay for a couple of bucks or whatnot. It was not expensive, but if I'm going to go in to do stuff like, like Army of Darkness is one of those things that's been put out a million fucking times. Has a bunch of different things, and of course it's got 3 different edits on the whole thing. All I've got is the Blu-ray from Shout Factory. That's all I've got. So if I want to do that, I'd have to spend a ton of money to go out and grab a bunch of Laserdiscs, a bunch of DVDs, a bunch of different things here and there, import stuff here and there, and it would be so costly that it wouldn't balance out. I'm just not. It's interesting, but it's not interesting enough for me to put forth that much cost and effort and research that thing for like a month and a half. Oh, I just don't feel like I've got. I still want to do all the numerous versions of. I like doing those ones, the Blade Runner, the Highlander ones, Star Trek: The Motion Picture. I like doing those. A little bit more straightforward. I can watch different versions of the movie, and I don't have to deal with 30 different releases of the entire thing to kind of break it down. I'm going to do a little bit of that whenever I get to the Close Encounters one, just kind of detail which releases, which version was released on, just kind of give a chronology of the release, the whole thing. But I'm not going to go into details of different transfers and all the different motion features and blah, 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 blah. I'm going to focus mainly on what the differences are between each cut of the film. That's the main thing. I like doing those. I find those very rewarding and very exciting for me, and just kind of delve into some things and really kind of further explore things. Like the Blade Runner one, it finally got me digging deep into the analysis of the whole thing. As I watched the film over and over again in slightly different versions, I started coming to conclusions and theories and stuff like that. It opened up the film to me, which I never fully did before, where I never really fully analyzed it. Once I started analyzing and watching all the different things from different perspectives and absorbing all the stuff from all the different people who worked on the film and all the different things, and Charles de Lazarica on podcasts and stuff like that, it just absorbed everything. That was very rewarding for me. I really enjoyed doing that stuff. Home video history is just very daunting. It's very tedious type of stuff. And like I said, it can be extremely costly. So I'm kind of interested in the idea. I'm just like not excited at all to spending the money and exhausting the energy on it. And just like, if I went through that much energy and I still got things wrong on the video, I still didn't make it 100% definitive because there's certain elements I got wrong in terms of the information I looked up. So I got to look up like 500 pieces of information on the whole thing. It's like eventually something's going to slip through, and it's just like, it's just very daunting is what I'm saying. So, I mean, maybe at some point in time something will strike me, but a lot of people are kind of throwing out different titles. Like, if you're throwing like 8 different titles at me, they're going to cost me like hundreds of dollars to absorb all these different home video releases to have something to show in the video. Now, of course, on the Terminator 2 thing and the original Terminator 1, I didn't need to have every single release kind of detail something about it, but the major ones I had to have the transfers to show off what the different color timings were and all that type of stuff. So when I got to the 4K and the thing is completely different, I have a basis to form a comparison about. So, I don't know. Right now, I just feel like I spent a month editing the goddamn video, not getting anything else really done on the channel, and it just really kind of dragged me down. I just didn't enjoy the process of it. It felt very, very long and tedious, and to keep going back through the video over and over again to make sure there were no editing flubs on the whole thing. It was a very difficult process. I'm not really elated after the process. I'm just like, I'm glad I don't have to deal with it anymore. So that's just the story of it. So go watch the video if you haven't. I put in that much work. I want people to watch it and have something taken from it. I'm just like going forward on these home video retrospectives. Even the whole thing with like, okay, I did the Star Wars Trilogy Special Edition, the 97 version, over a year ago. Did like, 14 months ago? I still don't feel like I can go ahead and do any more of those. I feel like those were tough. Stuff like that when it's just like I'm trying to get every little detail of what George changed from version to version in terms of audio and visual and CGI and all the different things. It's very difficult. And trying to think of the 2004 DVD release is just, oh man, it just exhausts me because there's just like a million minor little like censoring changes and little things here and there, and the color timing and the reversed audio tracks and stuff like that. I just don't feel like I want to do it. It just feels like it's too goddamn much for one person to go over all this stuff and dedicate that much time to it. It's like, it's not like it's not interesting. It's just a lot of fucking work. I just don't feel like doing it. It's just like there's not enough return on it to kind of do anything about it. It doesn't feel like that, because I go on a million things about YouTube and stuff like that, and various other things about performance of videos here and there. But simply said, it's not something I'm going to look forward to doing anytime soon. Like I said, there's the numerous versions of Close Encounters. I might do Apollo 13 IMAX version, because the IMAX version did get released on a certain DVD release. It's pretty darn cheap to get, but it's not on any of the HD or 4K releases. So it'd be kind of an interesting thing to explore that. And as I did with like Attack of the Clones and stuff like that, this one would be a lot more interesting because I actually have a proper version to look over, but I haven't watched Apollo 13 in 30 years. So another one that's one I have to actually catch up on and refresh. I've seen Close Encounters once before, so that's also something to refresh for me. But it's a lot of work to get up onto and deal with that stuff. But it's still on the list. It's just a matter of like having the time to work on it. And as things are right now, after I finish the Wolf video, things going to get a little bit changed up around here because myself, Steve, and my director of photography friend Eric Waltman, we are all looking to moving forward on my short film project that I was talking about on and off last year. Because we kept trying to see when it would slot in and things weren't quite working out and stuff like that. The scheduling wasn't quite forming up in some places and here and there and everywhere. And we're looking to get this, hopefully to put this whole thing together by the end of March. Because that's when Eric's spring break week is from his duties at teaching school. And so that'd be a perfect time. He's got the whole week off. We can schedule things very flexibly in that regard and have him not kind of dividing his time and whatnot. So we'd have it completely and kind of work on the whole thing and get the entire thing shot. But there's a lot of work to get up on before that. And so kind of preface things in that regard. This is a neo-noir short film thriller called In Too Close, which follows private investigator Alana Dietrich, who gets wrapped up in a dangerous case that strikes too close to her deteriorating personal life and threatens more than just her client. So this is very much influenced by a lot of things I'm typically influenced by, but something has been really kind of driving me over the last several years, trying to develop very much a female-led sort of thriller, drama, or action type of story. And it was so much the kind of the Marvel Jessica Jones type of thing that's always been kind of in the back of my inspiration for the last many, many years with the neo-noir, film noir vibe of the entire show, Christopher Rivers' performance of that character, the soundtrack, the score, the entire thing. It's always been kind of very prevalent in a lot of things I've been trying to weave myself into. And on this entire thing, we are going to be shooting in 4K. Because Eric's cameras, his DSLRs will shoot in 4K. And so we very much got him on board in the entire thing. He's been very much kind of chopping at the bit to shoot something with me for last many years. And Steve's also always been kind of eager to kind of get up on, because me and Steve met because I was trying to do a short film back in 2009, and he came on board to work on the entire thing in various capacities, and things fell apart, and there's a lot of different things, and we're trying not to repeat the mistakes of old. So a lot of things were kind of like a little bit run and gun, a little bit guerrilla filmmaking type of things, and kind of just trying to scramble along and try and do things as we kind of figured it out. Eric said the perfect thing the last time I met him. We're too old for that type of stuff anymore. We need to do it right, get things planned out, crew the thing up, get a lot of people on board that can really do the entire thing, because I'm not going to have Eric shooting it and lighting it and miking it all by himself. I got to have a crew for him and crew for myself. All this type of people to kind of fill up the entire thing. So we are looking for a certain amount of crew. We don't have a lot of budget on this type of thing, so that's kind of the hindrance of the entire thing. So I don't know where that's going to take us, but we're going to be looking in certain places to get some people who need some experience. We're going to contribute things to the entire production here and kind of work things out and see what we can do in that regard to get a crew involved and get some locations secured. So we don't have a lot of locations on the entire thing. We got a couple exteriors. We got one particular interior that's kind of the home of the main character, Milana, and kind of deal with that. I'm more or less going to have a thing that's about certain and just more about making sure we can get everything kind of worked out in that regard in terms of scheduling in that regard. But anything like that. So we got a couple things to work out, but we're going to shake out whatnot. But I got some people to contact to kind of work things out and kind of post things on my own personal Facebook profile, kind of get some people who are friends with me to see if they're going to be interested in our things, see if they'll throw in here and there and everywhere, stuff like that. Just can pique some interest here and there and see where it flows for us. So just under 2 months to when we want to optimistically shoot this thing, because if we don't get done by that kind of spring break week, we kind of have to wait until after the spring, get into the summer, and kind of move it off in that regard. So hopefully things will come together in that regard. But as I mentioned, I'm kind of a little in this sort of like up and down funk. It's all different things. Like the social media stuff is really kind of, I gotta kind of shelter myself from some of that stuff, because there's a lot of stuff going on that I just don't want to emotionally inflict myself towards. And certainly the season's kind of bleak in some places. It's not quite as bright and happy and sunny and stuff like that. So I had to kind of focus myself on my inspirations, my motivations. Kind of go through a private playlist I have of different short films I've seen and kind of enjoyed and taken some things from up on YouTube. So I'm going to go through those, kind of look at things and kind of get that sort of indie filmmaker vibe going instead of like watching a big film or whatnot. Like, I'm not going to go sit down and watch Heat and try to examine Heat and see what I can do to make the film like Heat. I'm not going to do something like that. I'm going to look at a lot of the short films, kind of examine things, see where I can go for, get that vibe in me about how to create that type of thing, kind of pace it out and craft it overall and kind of get that vibe in it. But last year I did put together a cinematographer and mood reference reel that I'm not going to post here because I'll get all types of copyright stuff involved in the entire thing, but it'll be shared up on Patreon in due time. But the entire thing, like, I just put together different things to kind of show off what the look should be, what the vibe is, what we're going for. Some things here and there, they'll be very much kind of easy to transplant about what's in the script to what I'm kind of like showing you in the reel and whatnot. So it's a really good type of thing that I kind of did that and kind of showed it off to Eric and Steven and stuff like that so they could visualize things right when I gave them the script for it. So they could kind of get an entire package of what the entire thing was like. And so that's a good type of thing. And last summer, I kind of went off because I watched Kent Lamb's channel, Standard Story Company. He does great videos, great short films, all types of stuff. It's very positive, really reinforcing of giving tips and kind of showing people what you can do and kind of make things more efficient or break things down different ways. And he was kind of promoting a certain app called Milanote. It's very much like this creative note-taking type of thing where you can put together like mood boards and put together like checklists and stuff like that and all the different things. So I put together an entire thing, designing an entire thing for that has, again, like a mood board for all the different cinematography elements and the lighting we want to do and certain like character mood boards, kind of like templates like how the character should look, some ideas and whatnot, how to dress, stuff like that. And we got different things for those for scheduling and for the crew and some contact lists, all types of stuff. So it's very much all online type of stuff. So it's much more in that age where we can share information more quickly and more readily in that regard instead of having to deal with a bunch of 1,000 emails back and forth and try and keep in touch with everyone in that regard. It's going to be a much more centralized place. So work on sort of a, well, as I have put together a actual production binder now, but it's more of a virtual one in that regard, which is a lot more information overall. This one just got like scripts and release forms and various sort of things. Have contact information and various sort of things here and there as we kind of build things out. And I could put the schedule up on the entire thing. So it's pretty much a good type of thing. So I just have a free version of the whole thing, but it allows you to kind of like build all these different things out for a free version of the thing. And certainly there's paid versions, and also if you kind of invite other people over, you can get more space and stuff like that. But I'm still at a comfortable place on the entire thing where I don't have to scale anything back and still add a lot more things on top of where I am. And so it's very much a thing that really kind of makes things a lot easier, because back in the day, I'd be shooting emails out all over the place, and I think I'll be a lot better about a lot of things now than I was back then, especially with all the pre-planning we're trying to do now instead of trying to like figure things out as we go along. No good, because if we can plan everything now, we can shoot it in a couple of days within that week and get it all wrapped. We don't have to be like, oh, we can shoot a thing here, then we got to wait like 3 weeks to kind of sort things out over here and figure it out then, and where we're going to shoot this thing and that. No, not doing that anymore. Not doing that anymore. It's not the right way to do it. It was fine when we were kind of young and kind of inexperienced, or just trying to be a little ahead of the game, trying to be ambitious, but also kind of do it with nothing. And it's as a young man's game. Not our game or whatnot. It's most efficient for us to do it this way. Have that type of organization. Try to get things up on the right levels there, and all that type of stuff. So we're working on. So I'm just trying to make this as a statement to move forward. So I got the production binder going. I touched up the Miller Note type of thing in the last day. And so I'm just trying to make steps to kind of like force myself to be productive and make things happen a little bit at a time. And so that's what's moving forward. So we're trying to make that happen for ourselves and get that done. So it's a 7-page script. So I figure it's probably maybe about 10 minutes short. It's a fair amount of scenes and a good amount of character, because my thing's always been about character. I know there's a lot of things that are just like their concept, and they can do that really quickly and short and all that type of stuff. I've always been like preoccupied, like I'm a character guy. I like writing character. And it's kind of a hard thing to do with a short film, to tell a story that's all character based, because that requires a lot of different things to kind of get into a lot of dialogue and get interaction with the different characters, stuff like that. Certain things that build up, and I feel like I hit that balance with this screenplay to be both concept a little bit, have it in there as a thriller, a little bit of a horror in there as well, and have a certain thing where it's all about a character arc, a story to tell with the character itself. So it's very much story driven and also character driven. But it's a very short 7-page script that's compact and gets to the point and moves forward, and it's very satisfying. So I think this could be a very good type of thing for us to nail it, and hopefully that'll happen. What's going to happen afterwards in post-production is entirely another story. But if we get up to actually shooting the thing, there will be behind-the-scenes footage. I'll be posting exclusively on Patreon. So certain steps are going forward, and that's going to be good things to have and stuff like that. So as we shoot things in 4K on Eric's stuff, I'll be able to shoot stuff with my camera or anything like that to do some behind-the-scenes stuff, or have someone else shooting some things here and there to kind of document what's going on behind the scenes. So lofty things. It's a little bit scary. I haven't shot one of my own scripts in like 13 years. The last project I worked on was Kill Shot, the thing I tried to be as a crime drama web series. I was like, why did I think doing a web series would be easier than doing a feature film? I don't know, because it was just as daunting and it got nowhere. It really didn't get many places. So that was a major downfall of something like that. It was like it was just trying to scramble, get things done. I didn't have anyone involved. There was a crew. It was me and a few smattering of different people, and trying to schedule things out. It was just a mess. It was just a major, long, protracted mess. It's not the way to do it. I'm never going to do that anymore. I'm going to try to make everything well-planned, organized, and stuff like that. So keep you guys updated as we go along here. And so it's going to kind of maybe loosen things up a little bit on the channel, because I'll have to deal with a lot of stuff, logistics in that regard. And then, of course, as we get along, once I secure locations, get some people involved in crew, I'm going to deal with casting. Some people I might be contacting that I already know, that I've kind of worked with before. Some people I might have to go out and look for them and do some maybe like Skype auditions, stuff like that, or pre-tapes or whatnot, anything like that. So we'll see what happens. But one step at a time, and see where things build towards, if they build towards anything at all. So we'll go forward on that regard. So beyond that, I don't know what else there is. There's a few little odds and ends. Nothing too pertinent. I did want to mention, I popped in the Laserdisc of Wolf. And I don't think I'd throw it in here or there, whatnot, but I didn't realize there's only about like a 2-hour film. The Laserdisc has 60 chapters on it. I've never seen that. Like, it has a chapter almost every 2 minutes. Like, even DVDs wouldn't do that. It's like, that's insane. That's nuts. But I was thinking, I'd never even read the back of this thing. There's a whole bunch of production notes on the back of this thing. So I read the whole thing. I read the booklet, most of the booklet that was in on the Powerhouse Films Blu-ray. And so that all kind of helped a little bit into churning stuff out. I did all the research in one day. I shot it the same day. I shot part of it the same day. I shot the rest of it the next day. But it's like I churned all the information as like speed session of getting all the information. I watched all the documentaries, the interviews, every little thing I could find, every little piece of information I could find to launch myself into it for one weekend. That's a hell of a thing. I've never been able to do that. I've always been like, oh, if I'm going to do something kind of like in a short span of time, get it prepped and stuff like that, I never would have done something like that. But I was that motivated to make that happen. But no media pickups today, but I just want to mention a few minor things. One, a weird type of thing. I have a bunch of like old like burned CDs, like data stuff and various other things. I got a whole bunch of crap in the garage, and I was looking for something else because I was going to sell something. I was going to sell something on eBay that had a companion DVD with it, a book, but I didn't have it inside the book, so I had to go looking through all my racks of stuff, and I found a couple of these odd discs, this like stack of freaking discs or whatnot that like I didn't know what the fuck was on this shit. It just said movie archive. I found something on here that I thought didn't exist anymore. Back in like 1998, I recorded a RealAudio show for the Forever Horror website I worked for. Like 98, or 99. I thought it was lost. I found it. You don't want to listen to this thing. It's not worth listening to. It's not worth releasing. But it blew my mind. And I remembered I recorded it twice. And apparently, it was right after I'd watched Dream Warriors and Dream Master for the first time. And I was recording this at like, I don't know, dead in the middle of fucking night. It's nuts. It's nuts. I found also, because I did have, back in the late 90s, the Attitude Era stuff, I had a wrestling website. And I apparently had, I'd forgotten I even did this. I recorded a bunch of RealAudio shows for that. So anyone knew about RealAudio Player back in the day, I recorded a couple like internet, like proto podcast stuff for that website and for the Forever Horror channel, Forever Horror website and everything like that back in the late 90s. That's nuts. I just found that to be fucking nuts. That was crazy for me and anything like that. So finding it was just like, I just had no idea. I didn't know where the hell it disappeared to, and the fact that I found these discs laying around in the racks in the garage, like, holy shit. Most of the other discs don't have anything worth a damn. There's a bunch of random shit. It doesn't mean anything, like, but just finding that was like, fuck yeah. Like 25 years ago. You don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear it at all. Trust me, you don't want to hear it. It's just me and me alone. So anything like that, but wild stuff in that regard. So, but talking a little music here, my ladies in the band Plush, actually tomorrow this is going to be delivered. They were putting out a live album from the tour they did last year, which I did attend 2 different shows of, so very excited for it. And actually, I ordered the CD, pre-ordered it directly from their website. I wasn't going to do Amazon, I was going to do Bull Moose. I've done this before, and they showed up late. I was going to order directly from the website from the band. And so it's actually shipping from somewhere in Chicago, so it's pretty nice in that regard. It's going to get here tomorrow, so it's like a day ahead of the actual release date, which is great. So I'll be listening to that very soon, and some other good music I've listened to. Because the band that opened from the last show I saw, Drew Cagle and The Reputation, they just put out the first full-length album called Bad Attitude. It's great. It's great old school rock, man. Just old bluesy, hard rock type of stuff. Great stuff. New video out for it. Looks really good. Same guy directed the previous one for All Figured Out, which is also a great track. These guys are fantastic on stage. Love seeing them, and just like the fact that since August, when I saw them, and I'm still hooked on them now, I'm loving the new album. I got it off of iTunes. Awesome type of stuff. Just like the fact that they also, for one, I think it was the title track, they got Tracy Guns to perform the whole thing from LA Guns, one of the versions of LA Guns. There's been like 2 different versions out there. I don't know what's going on with that whole thing, but anything like that. So they toured with him, played with him, and he came on the track, played with them, and the thing is great production quality. Really excellent type of stuff. So I'm hot on it. It's a really good type of thing. Overall, they're absolutely fantastic. They're signed to the same management as Plush right now, and so I'm just eating them up. I could have gone to see them about a month ago. But this was the same weekend where I actually went off and decided I got to shoot the Terminator 2 video, and so I decided not to. They were opening for a Van Halen cover band or tribute band or whatever you want to call it, over in Rosemont, and I was itching on it, kind of go for it, but I was like, okay, I got to get this video shot. I really have to get that shot, so I kind of went off and did that instead of going to see them. But they'll be back around. They're from Champaign, from like Central Illinois. They'll be back around here. No problem whatsoever. They'll be shooting up in due time, I'm sure. They'll be probably putting up some dates or whatnot. I don't know. They haven't announced a tour, but I'm sure they'll be doing something soon in that regard. But anything like that, the album's really excellent type of stuff. Go check it out. Really, I'll have links below about the official website. You can get everything out from that point. They got merch. They got links to everything. All type of stuff. Great things for them. And someone I've been kind of a low-key fan of for a lot of years now, since she did her comeback album, Mad Love, about 2017, I think it was, somewhere around there. JoJo. She's great. I love her vibe. Her energy is so positive. She's got such a great outlook. I'm more and more, I want to get the audiobook for her memoir, Over the Influence. I'm just getting more and more vibes, more and more things are just like, really just I want to absorb more about what she is about and everything like that. She's just great, positive, welcoming, inviting, and inclusive person in that regard. She just invites experience upon her. And the new album she put out, new EP she put out, NGL, not gonna lie, great vibes. Just like it's groove on it from the right from the beginning. I really love it. It's really goddamn good. Again, it has a real groove and a vibe and all the type of stuff. Just like she's been doing a lot of R&B stuff since she came back and everything like that, with her big albums and everything like that. But she kind of went a bit more pop on this one. Still a little bit of R&B stuff as a vibe in it, but the pop sensibilities are very much there. And just like it's just got such a such an energy to it. I like it so much. It's a really good type of thing. So it's also just up on streaming. No physical like a CD release or whatnot. I don't know what the EP you put out a vinyl or anything. I don't think you would for an EP. But it's all up on streaming right now. All the type of stuff for both of them. The Plush album's going to be out this Friday up on all the services and everything like that. So I've had a lot of good stuff to really make myself over 1 week after another. Each have come out 1 week successively after another. So each Friday I've gotten new stuff. So it's been really great vibes overall. Just like really great stuff. There's a variety of stuff. So you got the pop sensibilities and certain things, kind of old school bluesy rock. Now you got much with the harder edged rock with Plush doing the live album. So all the different things. So great stuff. I'm just like things to really kind of latch on to and get some positive stuff going for myself. So really love it all over the place. So like JoJo's stuff I've been buying, even though I'm like, even if I'm not loving the entire album, I keep buying the full things, the full EPs, the full albums up on iTunes over and over again, because she just got such a damn thing about her that just like makes me want to just absorb what she does so much. I think she's a great talent, and she's an incredible voice, all types of stuff. She's just such a great package of a person and a talent, all that type of stuff. And I could say so much about the girls in Plush, so much. They're such vibrant talents overall, and they just have such a positivity about them and all that type of stuff. And just like the fact that Drew Cagle, the reputation, they're very engaging online and stuff like that. I keep posting stuff in my Instagram stories, or I comment on their stuff, and they're always engaging in that regard. So whether it's just them, Cagle himself, or it's the management team, anything like that, they're still just they're reaching out and interacting and stuff like that. So I liken the fact that next time I do see them, I'm going to go up to their table and say, hey, so you guys do this type of stuff before. This is the second time I've seen you. Love everything you're doing. The EP, the album you put out, all that type of stuff. Did have an EP before called Haunted, which is pretty good. Not as good of a production quality, but still good songs on it, which also I'll probably be grabbing that one, buying that instead of just listening on YouTube Music. But they're on a really great trajectory as well. So great things overall. So those are the things that are kind of injecting some good vibes into me at this point in time. So we want to share that with you guys. So anything like that. So hopefully you guys are very much excited about this whole thing. And I felt kind of motivated to make the short film kind of proclamation today, because on the day I'm recording this is Michael Mann's birthday, and he is my favorite filmmaker. I felt like there was kind of a reinforcement in that regard. I feel like that I gotta do it on that day. When I realized that was going to coincide in the whole thing on the day I was off, all the type of stuff, I had to do that. So I requested a Thursday off, but it ended up being next Thursday, because I want to go see this movie Hard Eyes, which like Robert Cargill and a bunch of other people like Matt Donato, great critic and everything like that. All these people on Blue Sky are raving about this like fucking Valentine slasher movie. I thought it was coming out next weekend, because next weekend's Valentine's Day. It's actually coming out this weekend. So I requested the wrong Thursday off. So I requested next Thursday off instead of this Thursday off. So I have to wait until the weekend to go see it and everything like that. But thankfully today, because there's a bad storm going outside, it's like freezing rain and snow and stuff like that. So if I requested this Thursday off, I'd probably be at work right now and have to drive home with this crap. So thankfully something worked out. I figured like, well, if I took next Thursday off and I don't have anything else going, maybe I'll just go see the new Captain America movie. I haven't been really wowed by it, but it's like, okay, if I'm on this train of going to see Nosferatu, and I saw Companion, I fucking forgot to mention Companion. I went to see that. That's good. That's a really good movie. That movie's good. Now the problem is I did watch the second trailer. Don't watch the second trailer if you haven't already. It reveals way too much. It kind of spoils the plot a little bit. Because I was a little kind of like, oh, well, I saw the other trailer and kind of feeling I'm gonna like. It would have been better if I didn't watch the other trailer and get things spoiled. But my friend Bert, who's lovely on the channel here, he encouraged me to go. You know, there's a lot more stuff involved in the film, a lot more surprises and stuff like that. And he encouraged me, and I went off and saw it on Sunday, and I had a really good time. Loved it. Jack Quaid, he's fantastic. Soviet Thatcher is just spectacular in the movie. Great stuff. I'm not gonna burn any spoilers. Just go see it. I really, really liked it. It was just really well crafted, smartly well done. Great wit, clever stuff overall. Just like it's a really well constructed, well developed concept. Just like it's so dimensional as well with what it does. It's like I'm placing all these kind of like adjectives and stuff like that on top of it without telling you about the entire film. But it is a genre film, kind of a horror film, but has a lot of things going on for it that's very just rich. I very much like it. So if you've seen the teaser, just go off the teaser, go see it. Because I definitely highly recommend it. It's very, very good. So I went to see Nosferatu a month ago. So Camp Companion, loved it. Very interested in this Hard Ice movie. A lot of people are saying it's really goddamn good. And so the Captain America one, I've been really hot on because there's, I don't know. I'm getting a little bit like Steve. I don't care as much about certain Marvel stuff anymore, but I don't know. We'll see how things roll out with the critics' reactions, stuff like that. But this Hard Eyes thing I'm on. Jack Quaid's got another film coming out called Novocaine, which looks fucking great. I think that's coming out March or April. There's a lot of things coming out. When I went to see Nosferatu, like I said last time, there's like a bunch of trailers like, I want to see this, and this. This all looks good. It's all coming out by like the next couple months. So I'm glad I have my AMC stubs because that's going to give me a lot of rewards in due time. So go see Companion. Go see that stuff. So anything like that. So hopefully you guys are all excited for this stuff and kind of throw things in the comments about, tell me what you're on about, if you're very much excited for the short film project, all that type of stuff. So any encouragement you give, any type of thing like that to support us is great. Likes, comments, shares, all that type of stuff. Subscribe if you haven't already. Super Thanks feature and Patreon to contribute anything monetarily to the channel to keep us going in this regard. And so guys, thanks so much. Take care. Bye-bye.